Hello YouTube! Hello YouTube! Back again with another speed lab. I think this is just my intro now. I don't know how many times I've said this at the start of the vid. So yeah, this time we're gonna be labbing Leo. And Leo is one of those characters that you won't see that often because it's Leo. He's not that popular. But yeah, this character, in my opinion, right, is a pretty strong character. If you don't count the broken characters right now, like someone like Dragunov, Fang, and those kind of characters, like Azucena, I think Leo is still up there, pretty up there. But yeah, let's actually talk about the character a little bit. Let's go in the game. Let's actually stop the 30 FPS gaming. Switch back to 60. Okay. So when it comes to this matchup, our usual game plan, so I always start the speed lab vid with a game plan discussion. Our usual game plan is obviously like you want to do electrics, either keep out for pressure. Basically, electrics are really good to do in general as Kaz, because electrics are good in general. They're just a good move. But this matchup kind of stops you from doing that many electrics as keep out or for pressure. So you have to be very careful and consider your other options instead of doing electrics. The main reason why it's a little bit scarier to do electrics is that the Leo player can actually bait it very easily compared to some other characters who just, dash into duck. Like, they take more risk by doing that. But the Leo player can do something a little bit more safe and a little bit more, it won't require as much thinking. Basically, they can just do this. And they will purposefully do this sometimes if they think you're gonna electric. In the neutral, they just do this. So if something like this happens, you don't want that happening. So excuse me, I don't know why I'm coughing so much sometimes. It's because I talk so much. But yeah, I have to be careful about this. And using 4-4-2 for keep out instead and pressure instead of electrics will work against this. But I think 4-4-2 might whiff sometimes as well. It's a little bit weird with the stance, but mostly it will work. Basically, replace your electrics with 4-4-2s. Even though they are slow, it can still work. And the keep out, it still works the same way. But just be careful about the Leo player sidestepping too much in the neutral, because 4-4-2 is still steppable. I know a lot of people say it's pretty hard to step, but it's still steppable. Be careful. Don't use it too much. The other part is his mix-up potential, and when you want to just go in on the Leo player and just mix them up, for example, right? I think this is more or less the same. The only big difference is I think the down forward 2 also hitting crouched, so you can't really do a Weiwu into crouch guard as much anymore, right? But that's not that big of a difference because the other characters also have hop kicks and you have to consider that. So Weiwu block is the biggest thing you want to do anyway. Either Weiwu electricing can work, but as I said, be careful about electricing too much. Weiwu blocks are good, but sometimes if they respect you too much, just hell sweep up. Because we have that. Why not? Hell sweep up. Mixed up 4-4-2 though, not 4-4-3, as I already said. 4-4-3 can work sometimes, especially if they're either panicking, so they press the button in the bad timing, or they just panic with a sidestep at the bad timing, they might get hit. But yeah, usually 4-4-2 is a very good option. But that's about general game plan, more or less. And Leo player's game plan is usually quite defensive sometimes, but he can also do a lot of stuff from long range that will hit you. Crew, hello man. Like something like this is long range option. Let me just go over some long range options before I actually start discussing it. Right? Like this options she has are basically very long range options. With like wall standing 4 because of the crouch dash. What's that wall step? I'll tell you about it later, the crew. Let me finish the speed lap and I'll tell you about it. But it is a setup. Yeah, it is a setup. So yeah, Leo, just be careful about her long range stuff. She can also do something like this to just close the distance with plus frames and start pressure. So be very careful when it comes to stuff like that. So Leo is very good in closing the distance with moves like this, which can also be used as a kind of a mix-up, just because this exists as well, like CD1. So mid-range Leo is pretty damn good. And this matchup in general, I think, is in favor of Leo. More or less in favor of Leo. But I'll explain why in a little bit. So first, let's discuss Leo's mid moves and the best mid moves, basically. So first, let's discuss down forward 1. I almost always start with this move. So this move right here, this down forward 1, is a -1 down forward 1, which is a really good one, especially because it also has a follow-up. I'm going to discuss the follow-up in a little bit. But yeah, this move can be stepped to the right, but it has almost full tracking to the left. I said almost, but it is sidewalkable. But it has very good tracking to the left. But usually, sidestep right will beat it, right? Sidestep right, instant punish. You can even sidestep right, electric this, right? If you want to step down forward 1, usually you go to the right. Usually. But Leo has a lot of setups when they stop you from doing stuff like that, but I'm going to discuss them later. First, let's talk about the setup, not setup, the follow-up. So down forward 1, 2 is a follow-up to down forward 1. It's a high follow-up that basically makes you respect this as a move to stop you from either moving or pressing. So this move, if you do try to step, you will get hit, obviously. As you step to the foreground, I guess sometimes it just automatically ducks, but most likely, most of the time it will get hit. If you duck it, obviously you'll get a punish on it. But this basically forces like a mental mind game situation when if you almost always duck down forward 1, they'll just keep spamming it. They'll just keep doing it, right? If you always just do this every time a down forward 1 gets blocked, and that's not really optimal. So that's why this is strong. And the good thing about this is that it's very delayable. So let me actually do delay. I think that's the most delay I can do. Let me check a little bit more. Yeah, I think that was the most delay I could do. There we go. Because of the delay, you're actually scared of pressing even more than normal. And if you do press, it gets that as a counter hit. That's very scary, because Leo can do something like this. It's easy mode, right? 43 damage. That's pretty decent damage. So be very careful about that. I mean, very careful. I think Leo can even do forward 2 there, but I don't know if that's more damage or not. So yeah, down forward 1, 2. Just beware of the mind game with a high. Sometimes duck it, but the good Leo players won't throw it out too much. So sometimes you have to force them to throw it out by either jabbing or sidestepping after and stuff like that. It's like a basic mind game in that situation. And that's about down forward 1. Let's talk about his other very generic mid that's also very strong, down forward 2. So down forward 2 is kind of like a generic one, but the big difference here is that it also launches crouchers unlike the other generic down forward 2s. So if I duck, this will auto launch me. That's one of the biggest differences, so it works as a whip punisher really well. And it also has very good range. Like, look at that range, right? That's pretty decent range. It's 2.3 maybe. Something similar to that. Maybe 2.2. But for a move like that, it has pretty good range. But also the big difference compared to everyone else is that it's punishable. And the punish is -13. So something like this will work. Back 1, 2 will almost always work. And also the very big thing, which I really approve of in this game, is that they reduced the pushback on down forward 2 on block. In the previous game, when this got blocked, sometimes some of your punishments might whiff. This game, not anymore. Most of your punishments gonna work against this. Even something like 1-1, which whiffed a lot, will most of the time work unless you backdash it. Like if you backdash it, then it will whiff sometimes. But most of the time, this will still work. But the good thing is, back 1-2 will always work. So, yeah, be careful about something like that, the down forward 2, and when it comes to sidestepping this move, this has very good tracking to one side. And by very good, I mean basically fully tracking. But you can step it to the right just like you do a down forward 1. So down forward 1 and down forward 2 can both be stepped the right direction, but you have to be careful about this move because it does have slight tracking to the right as well. If you sidestep block way too fast, you'll still block it instead of avoiding it. So be careful about that. Okay. What else? So down forward 2, I think that's it. That's it for now. So these are like the generic light moves he has. That's pretty good. Now let's talk about up forward 2. So this is also one of the key, and I mean very key mids that Leo players have. And I don't see enough Leo players use this, to be honest. Because this move is very strong in the hands of like a very good Leo player, because something like this into one standing 3, which I can't do. I suck at this game. There we go. Like that basically creates a combo, right? I already did it once. That's enough. That was already good enough. But yeah, someone good can use something like that, which is really, really good. But now in this game, something like this also exists. Which is, you know, pretty good to have, like an easy mode launcher. You don't even need to do the execution stuff. The execution stuff is good to do if you don't want to use heat, but you still have that option. Yeah, Bunny, yeah. He does have that option. Okay, so that's very, very important. But this, in general, is a very strong move because it's a safe mid-mid. So let's talk about this move a little bit, because the thing about this move is that it has some sort of counterplay. The main counterplay for this move is sidestep right. I think they made this easier in this game. It didn't work usually. You had to sidestep duck for this to work, but sidestep right works way more now. For the second hit. To the right. If you try to step to the left, it will hit you. That's basically tracking. See, you saw that tracking? Yep, it basically tracks you. So you have to go to the right, and this is a good change because you could not do this in Tekken 7. Yeah, you have to do this kind of duck thing. Sidestep right duck for that to work. So now we can just sidestep it. So it's very, very good to have something like this. The other things that you can do against this, which usually what I was doing in Tekken 7 because the sidestep was so weird to do, is that it's actually interruptible by 11 frames. And only certain characters can do this. And by certain characters, I mean Kazuya is one of them. So up forward 2, they might just do this. Like, just throw it out because as a move, it has a decent property with, you know, instant knockdown, 18 frame, not bad. But just up forward 2 is punishable, actually minus 14. But if you punish it, obviously, let's say you try to punish this with a back 2, which is 14, right? You will get countered by this move. Mito, hello. But the big thing about this is there's actually an 11 frame gap between this first move and the second move. So you can theoretically jab, but a lot of jabs just don't work in width. So if I try to jab here, it won't work. There are some characters' jabs that will work, but when it comes to this matchup, Kazuya's jab will not work. But the thing that will work is back 1-2. Because as I said, the actual interval, the frames you have here, are 11. It's an 11 frame gap, so you can do a back 1. And this will not only punish the first hit up forward 2, but it will also punish the attempt for the second one, because you interrupted. But this is not an option select, don't get me wrong. I'm saying it's good to do, and this was really good to do in 7, but I think right now it's better to sidestep the second move instead. I think this might be better. But if the Leo player likes to do just empty up forward 2s, maybe back 1-2 can be better. But now, why do I say back 1-2 isn't that good? It's because Leo actually has an option to avoid it and launch you, if she has the read. So up forward 2 also has this stance transition right here with a down input. Will I get edited Tekken King? Not anytime soon, Sebo. But yeah, the back 1-2, the main weakness of that is that up forward 2 has this transition right here. And I'm pretty sure this was intended by the developers just so back 1-2 wouldn't be like an option select, or a jab couldn't be an option select for it. Because if you try to do this, suddenly you're up in the air, and you're gonna take at least like 100 damage if you get to the wall. Yeah, so that stance transition high crushes really, really consistently. But the Leo player also takes a risk by doing that if you just, you know, wait it out and read it. Or do that sidestep right after up forward 2. Which, as I said, is a good thing to do. So if you mix up your back 1-2 with your sidestep right sometimes, it will be a very, very good thing to mix them up. And it will be like rewarding for you, more or less. But sometimes you may guess wrong. So sidestep right more than the back 1-2. If you're back 1-2, you'll force them to use this. I doubt they will use it otherwise. So yeah, be careful about this mix up. And the sidestep direction about this move in general, up forward 2, I'm talking about that as well, is that you can generally step it really, really easily. I think both sides, more or less, yeah. But I think sidestep right is weird when it comes to punishing the move. But you can do a back turn punish. Something like that works. You can also do 3-1-4. Like any kind of back turn punish can work here. So basically both ways. They can work. So that's about up forward 2-1. And you can experiment with this with your character as well. If you don't have an 11 framer, just try your jabs if they work or not, and just replace that with that. But even if you don't have it, it's okay. Sidestep right is a good option now. Okay, so that's about up forward too. There are also a lot of other mids I can talk about, but let's start with down back 1+2 first. So this move is also really good because it has a confirmable follow-up. This right here. So this is a mid. Start up with 21 frames. It's a little bit on the slower side, but it's not that slow. So 21, confirm 1+2. That's a huge confirm, by the way. Right? If I try to delay it as much as possible, let's just delay it. There you go. I was pre-delayed. It's still a combo. Right? So it's pretty confirmable. More or less confirmable. And the big thing about this move is that it's also steppable to the right. But usually this will be used in situations at the wall when your sidestepping will be limited. So you have to be very careful about this move. On hit. Yeah, on hit. And the one hit, just that, is only -9. It's only -9, it's not punishable. So you can't even guess, right, if he finishes it or not. But if he finishes it, the thing about this move is that your jabs whiff. Do not jab punish this. If you just do this, it will whiff. If you don't even backdash, this happens. And this happened in Tekken 7 as well. They did not change this. Because they hate gas. I don't know why they didn't change it. So, yeah. The 1-1 still has the same problem. Even though the latest patch said, oh, fixed 1-1-2. No, it still has problems. So 1-1 doesn't work. And if you do this, when it does work, the second hit might whiff. There you go, right? If that happens, let's say that happens. The third hit gets blocked and you get launched. You're just dead for trying to punish this move with 1-1-2. Do not 1-1-2 this, basically is what I'm saying. You have to back one. Just have to do it. At least this works more consistently now. Because in the previous game, even this sometimes whiffed. Like that. So even this, in this game it can happen. I hate this move so much. This was one of my most hated moves in Tekken 7 because of this property. I literally despised it. So if you backdash after this, your back one might whiff. You see this? And it's not even -13, forward to down forward 4 or down back 1. It's -12. So you just have to block normally and then punish it. But if you backdash in between, suddenly it whiffs. So this is really messed up. This is really messed up. I hate this move. So if you do see it, just be careful about punishing it sometimes. But back 1-2 should work. Nerf Leo, I mean, at least make this less pushback, man. Like, come on. Okay, that's about this move. The other move I also want to talk about is back 4. I also have another mid to talk about as well. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's talk about back 4. So back 4 got a little bit of a change. So back 4 1+2 was the only move he could do as a follow-up after back 4. Which is mid wall splat that's very similar to down back 1. It has less hit confirmability. So he can't hit confirm it as well. But can still be doable sometimes, especially because you can cancel this. So this shoulder has a down cancel. This is very similar to Tekken 7, basically the same move. So let's talk about this a little bit. You won't see this that much, I'm gonna be honest, but I still want to talk about this. So this mid is another -12 move, just like the previous one, but this time your punish will almost always work. Not almost. Oh, it will always work. Back 1-2. Maybe 1-1 will sometimes work, but back 1-2 will always work. You don't even need to worry about this, right? If you do block this. But the problem here is the cancel. It can actually cancel into a duck. And if it cancels into a duck and you respect this, they might start to mix you up with something like this, maybe. And I see this a lot. I don't see it as much in Tekken 8. I'll explain why a little bit later. But you might still see something like this. This was very common in the previous game. This, cancel, full crouch low. So just remember that when he cancels that thingy, the back 4 1+2, is when the full crouch mix-up might come. They might do wall standing 3, they might do wall standing 4-1. Basically something from wall standing is coming, or full crouch. So yeah, be careful about that. And they might wall standing 2 as well, because they might catch you by either pressing, sidestepping, or ducking this move right here. Be careful about that. And when it comes to this move, it's also pretty linear. You can also sidestep it to the right. Pretty linear. Okay. Zoro, thank you for following. Big thank you for following. But now let's talk about why you won't see this that much compared to the previous game. The main reason is that it has a different follow-up now. What's the knee follow-up? There's a knee follow-up to this now. There we go. There we go. So this is the new follow-up. Thank you, Bunny. Thank you. I thought it was just 4. So back 4, this is the new follow-up. That's basically a little bit superior to this, and that's why Leo players use it instead. And why they use it is because unlike the other mid, this is actually not punishable. And also, it's +9, right? The big weakness of this move is that it's actually very backdashable. This is a very big weakness, by the way, but usually you do respect it and just hold back, right? That's what happens. But you can actually backdash it more or less. More or less. But it's hard. Sometimes you'll just get hit, sometimes it won't work, but it's possible. Yeah, Bunny's a Leo, man. So be very, very careful about that. But if you do block it, you're basically going to be in a mix-up situation after this. I'm going to talk about that stance in a little bit. For now, for now, this is like good enough. Just remember that back 4 also has this transition. I think one of the other things you can do against it is maybe sidestep. I haven't really tried it. I think backdash is the best option, like 100%. But maybe you can also sidestep this. But the big minus of sidestepping is that you're gonna get hit by the... Yeah, you can sidestep it. You're gonna get hit by the mid, 1+2. So, be careful about this. Just be very, very careful about this. The back 4, 1. Not one, oh, it's a 1. It's not 1+2. I thought it was a 1+2. Okay. So that's the other mid I want to talk about. Basically, the mind game here is cancel or not. Determination, hello. Other than that, let's talk about down back 2, which is a new low, not low, new mid. It's one of the strongest mids he has right now as well. It's very, very good. Okay, let's talk about that and let me think about the next one later. So down back 2. This is the new mid that he got in again 8, and it has basically infinite range. Look at that range, right? It's like 2.5, I think, maybe a bit more than that. 2.6, I think. 2.7. Wait. Okay, 2.7, something like that. So it's a very, very long range mid that can be used as a whiff punisher, and it also can be used as a long range mid check. It's very, very strong. And why it's strong is because it has a follow-up. Down back to 4, I think. Yep, the 4. And the biggest thing about this move is that this move can be hit confirmed. That delay, that makes it still a combo. So let me try to delay it as much as possible. There we go, maybe a little bit more. I think that's the max delay I can do. There we go. So you can hit confirm this with the 4, and it's a heat engager. And down back 2 by itself is -9. So this is a very, very strong move that Leo has. It's one of the best moves, and it's a new move too. The way you can beat this is you can sidestep it. It's not unbeatable, right? You can't step it. But the thing is, this move tracks really well to the right. Even if you try to step it, sometimes it might track you. Especially to the right. Just like that. Especially if you mistime it, right? But if you step to the left, it's a little bit more consistent. In my experience, anyway. Like, this is way more consistent. But that's kind of a problem because other moves track to the left. If you try stepping that to the left, you might get caught by down forward 1 or down forward 2 or some other moves. But if you do it mid-screen, like somewhere in this range, right? This kind of range. Then, it's a little bit more risk-free. Because that's the situation where Leo players will use it most. Yeah, it is the go-to mid. It's very strong. So basically what the bunny listed here is all the properties this move has. A lot of range, it's fast because it's 16 frames, it has decent tracking, heat engager, it's a wall splat, and the hit confirmable, so it's just very good. That's why I mentioned this. It's one of the best moves, so best mids he has. Okay, so that's down back 1. Let's mention back 1 as well, because I think a lot of Leo players use this, and I get annoyed because sometimes I just can't sidestep it. My brain just lags. So let's talk about back 1-4. So back 1-4, is a mid-mid that transitions into this stance. As I said, I'm going to talk about this stance a little bit later, but for now, let's just talk about this move. So, back 1-4 is a +9 mid-mid that basically mixes you up with the stance immediately afterwards. So it seems like a very strong move, and it is a very strong move, as long as you don't deal with it properly, right? The best way to deal with this is either do a backswing blow, which isn't that worth it, I'm gonna be honest. But Kazuya, for example, can do it. It's not that bad, because in this game our backswing blow is safe, which is a new change. So you can backswing blow this. Even if they do just the back one, to just fish for it, they won't be able to punish this. Unless they sidestep afterwards or something like that. But a backswing blow isn't a best option, is not a bad option. But the best option here is a sidestep to the left. If you do sidestep right, this will catch you. But you can just go to the left. Just tap left. I think your sidewalk might work. Yep, sidewalk also works. It's a little bit less consistent though. Yeah, I think sidewalk is less consistent. Just tap up. Or tap down if you're P2. You get what I mean. Just tap the button, sidestep, launch him. This is how you deal with back 1-4, usually. The best way to deal with it. But in this game, Leo actually has a new extension with back 1-1+2. This move right here. And the biggest difference to back 1-4 is that you actually can't step this. If I tap up, I will get hit. Any kind of stepping just won't work. So this basically exists as a mix-up to back 1-4, just so he can use back 1-4 more. I'm pretty sure that's what the developers were thinking when they gave Leo this move. This move basically enables back 1-4 more because it stops you from stepping back 1 in general. So let's talk about back 1-1+2 now. So this move, as you guys already saw most likely, is punishable on block. Right? If you do block this, it is punishable. Which I would be okay with this move if this was the only thing it did. It basically stopped you from stepping after back 1 and made this more accessible for Leo players. I'll be okay if that's the only thing it did, but it is not. The thing it also does is back 1-1+2 can transition into this stance right here, which basically creates a mind game situation on block. What that does is back 1+2 this into 2, for example, right? And if you try to punish this to back 1-2, this will launch you. This creates a mind game punish situation that if you don't punish with the right option, if you do have a right option, right, you might get launched for it. And not a lot of characters have a good option select here. But thankfully, Kazuya does. He actually does. He's one of the few characters that has a good option select here. The option select is 1+2. This always works. So Kazuya players out here, when you play against Leo, punish this with 1+2. I don't play against Leo enough to get in my muscle memory, I'm gonna be honest, but we at least know that we have a good option. Like someone like Elisa, for example, she does have a 12 frame mid, but it actually whiffs against this. Elisa down forward 4. And I'm not sure who else has a good 12 frame mid that I might check out, but Kazuya 1+2 works really well, is a guaranteed punish, and you don't need to think about the mix-up. So for us, it is like on the okay side, but for some characters, they do not have this. They have to actually guess the punish. Okay, so that's about back 1-1+2. So that's good to know. Back 1-4, good to know. They have to use generic down 4 low. Yeah, I mean, I guess they have an option as well. Didn't even think about that, but that sucks to have. Okay, this back 3-1. I don't think I should mention that outside of Heat that much. Heat I'm gonna cover it a little bit later. MC, thanks for a follow. A down forward 3, I should probably mention this, and I also should mention this move right here. The tracking moves he has basically. So down forward 3 is the main tracking move, more or less main tracking move. The jack down back 2. You mean down back 1, right? The low. I think that might work as well. The 12 frame low. That should work. Most likely it will work. So yeah, you can find your own version of a 12 frame move that can option select this, if your character has it. Okay, so down forward 3 is basically the go-to option for Leo players to basically stop your steps. If you sidewalk, this will just catch you. And it's a very, very good move because it's a 17 frame move, which is pretty fast. It's on the fast side. Also, it wall splat, so on hit, it will do this, right? That's a wall splat. It's a tracking move and it's safe. And the best property it has is that it has a slight pushback on block, which enables a little bit of a better mind game than normal -9. And the thing about this move is that it doesn't have a counter property, which is pretty important. But yeah, this move is very strong. The tracking mid that's safe, that wall splat's always good to have. It's very, very good. And the biggest thing about this move, the other biggest thing, is that it has a lot of range too. It's like 2.3 to 2.4, something like that. It's pretty decent range, so it's hard to backdash. The way you deal with this, usually, right, is you try to backdash it and then punish it. But it's hard to do that because of the range that it has. So it's a really, really good move. Be careful about doing this. And this move, which is crouch dash to the +4, is also very, very similar. This one right here. So this is a tracking mid-mid that also will wall splat at the wall, but it doesn't have a knockdown. And the thing is about this game, I'm actually really glad they nerfed this move because this was very strong in Tekken 7, is that it does not have a counter property. In the previous game, this used to launch. From what I remember, unless someone corrects me and I'm wrong. But yeah, this used to launch. So now it doesn't have a counter property, but as a move, it's still good. Because instead of -9, just like down 4-3, -6. So the mind game situation is a little bit better, but the bad side is, unlike down 4-3, this doesn't have pushback. So you might not see this that much. You might see this a lot more than this. Because, you know, it doesn't have a counter property anymore. Okay. Other than that, let's see some other mids. Back 2 is sometimes used as well. But this is basically a knowledge checking situation that they do sometimes. And they might mix it up. So let's just talk about it. So back to 1 sometimes is used as a mid check. So back to 1 is a mid high. That's only -4. But it's a duckable mid high. But not a lot of people duck it because it looks very weird. I'm pretty sure you guys can agree with that it just looks weird to duck. But it just is a string that is like that. So you do this and punish it. This is usually how we deal with this because if you block it, it's only -4. And -4 is not a good deal. It's really not. They can move very freely, they can jab you, they can power crush you, they can backswing you. It's not a good deal, basically. But they can mix it up with an actual mid. Looks like 2 mids. Yeah, it does. As I said, it looks weird. So this mid that they used to mix up with is actually punishable, that not a lot of people punish. Because it kind of looks safe. It does look safe. But this is punishable. You always punish this. The other thing you can also do is punch period. But other than that, you cannot sidestep it. Either side, you cannot backdash this. So either wait for it, or punch period. How it's -11. This is -11. It says that in the frame advantage corner there. So 4-4. That's your punish on that. I'm going to talk about heat later, and I'm going to mention this move again. But yeah, for later. So that's back 2. Let me see if I remember some other stuff. Backswing is just something you have to respect something. Up 4-3. Okay. So up 4-3 is another mid that Leo players will use for basically like a mid mix-up at the wall. So you won't see this move that much outside of the wall. Maybe sometimes you will, because it's just a good move. But basically this up 4-3 is very, very similar to a Kazuya up 4-3, right? This move. It's very similar. The biggest difference here is that this has more range. That's one of the biggest differences. The range on this is like huge compared to ours. You see that range? 2.5? That's crazy. And this is very similar to up 4-3 because it has the same properties. It's a wall splatting mid that's -9. And also it's also better compared to our up 4-3 is that it's faster. It's 17 instead of 19. Copy paste. Yeah, it's very similar, but this is better. Objectively. Same frames, -9, but it's faster, 17, with more range. The sidestepping is the same. You can sidestep this pretty easily, just like our up 4-3. But they will most likely use it in the wall situations, like they get a wall splat into like this, and then they mix you up with this, right? Something like this, when you can't actually sidestep it. So be very careful about this move as well, because usually you won't be able to sidestep it. It's a mix-up option that they have. Okay. Any other mids I'm forgetting about? Hop kick's a hop kick, up 4-3. I talked about that. Backswing. I don't want to go to stats yet. I'm just trying to remember a good mid that I might be forgetting. That's a punish. Back one I talked about. Down 2. Yeah. Down 2. How, I did forget about that. Thank you. A sidestep 1+2 as well. I think these two are the only ones left. Thank you. I sometimes forget. So yeah, down 2 is another very good mid. That actually, I can't believe I forgot about this move. This move got buffed in this game. It's way better now. So down 2 is basically the forward 4 of Leo. Like, the way we have this, Leo players have down 2. It's a +4 move that basically forces crouch. It's very similar to our forward 4. But it's a bit slower. It's 21 frames. But basically what it does is that it has better properties on hit, which is +9 instead of +7. And this down 2, just like our forward 4, forces you to only step one side. And if you're P1, you're forced to step to the left. What that means is his down forward 1 will track you, his down forward 2 will also track you, and obviously his jabs will also track you. So you have to be very careful about sidestepping in this situation after down 2 on block. So after you block the down 2, if you do something like this, like actually commit to a sidewalk, let me just do something like this setup, right? Which can be common, this down forward 2. I already mentioned down forward 2, right? Because it tracks to the left, this will just catch you unless you do a sidestep block pretty quickly, something like this. So a sidestep block can be good to do, like this. And then you'll be able to punish this. But something like this, for example, will catch you, at least it used to. Right? That catches you. And any kind of jab check will also catch you, even if you try to sidestep block. You play hitbox. Damn cheater. Just cheat the sidestep out. Cheaters, man, I swear. Hitbox users. But yeah, down 2. Be very careful about this move. And one of the scariest parts about this is that they buffed the counter property on this. You see that? That's a big launcher. So I guess I can do something like this afterwards. I just messed up. I messed up again. Let me just see what kind of damage this can do with my weak ass combo. So, just a little bit. There we go, something like this, right? Oh, bruh. Okay, that's a lot of damage. That was 80 damage. So yeah, be very careful about down 2. I mean, be very careful about down 2. But yeah, just like most of the moves though, just like most of the mids I mentioned, this is also steppable. And I think it's more steppable to the right than to the left, but both sides it can work. But yeah, left it tracks a little bit. But yeah, the damage is insane. And imagine if he gets the wall with that. If he gets the wall and gets the stance 1+2 into stomp, that's like 100 and something damage for free, right? So be careful. On the plus frame mid, that's very strong. It's a very good move. Okay, so that's about down 2. The other thing is the sidestep 1+2. So this sidestep 1+2 is basically Asuka's sidestep 2. Basically, very similar. It's a little bit slower. I think it's a lot slower actually, but it's very similar. But I mean the Asuka's sidestep 2 from the previous game and not from this game. This game Asuka's sidestep 2 is punishable. But this sidestep 1+2, this is safe. So this is a very good move. Especially because it also has this counter hit property. It's very strong. Because it's a sidestep move which adds a little bit of evasiveness to the sidestep already. Right? On hit, it also knocks down normally, so at the wall this will wall splat. And it is safe with -9, but not only is it safe with -9, it has a lot of pushback. It's very good. How do I feel about Asuka? I think Asuka is okay at the spot she is, but compared to others, she's definitely not that strong, right? Obviously. So yeah, this is also a safe mid. Be very careful. This is also very weird to sidestep, because it will track based on the sidestep the Leo player uses. So if they sidestep this direction or this direction, the way you sidestep this move might vary. And it's very weird to sidestep this because you also have to time it correctly. It's a slow move, you have to time it. So yeah, be very careful about this, especially at the wall. And that counter hit property also can pick up with a wall standing 3. With that. I see Richie doing this a lot. I can't do it, I don't think I can actually showcase it, but this can actually be a combo. Oh, Heat Burst actually works. Wait, let me try that. I need to dash in, I guess, right? I'm gonna try to showcase it. Ah, I messed up. I'm gonna try one more time. If I can't do it, it's okay. There we go. That's kind of messed up. That's kind of messed up. So yeah, I just showcased it. That's a good thing that I showcased it. So yeah, it's way stronger on counter rate now since the Heat Burst actually picks this up. Be very careful about this move. I think that's about it for mids though. Let's actually transition to lows. So yeah, all those are mids. So he has a lot of mids. Let me tell you that, a lot of mids. Okay. Oh, I forgot QCF2. Okay, I just remembered. Good shit, good shit. So QCF2, I didn't mention this. I mentioned it at the start as like a mid-range move, but I completely forgot to mention it as one of the mid options, right? So QCF2-1, how then? This character has way too many mids. So QCF2-1 is also another very good mid option that they can do in mid-range or even in close range, it doesn't matter. Leo is great, Leo is amazing in this game, yes. So Leo QCF2-1 is a safe mid-mid that you can't even punch parry or sidestep or do anything about. This is basically an unbeatable mid-mid move that is -6 and has infinite range. You can sometimes step this, right? But the second one has very good tracking. Look at that tracking, right? You can also step it to the right, but the second one still tracks you. Even if I start sidewalk, let's say I start sidewalk, it tracks you. If I start sidewalk to the left, sometimes this will whiff, but it still tracks you really well. Unless something like that happens, which is weird. But usually you do want to sidestep this to the left, but it's very strong. And just like Bunny said, you can also do a Heat Burst for the counter hit. I'm pretty sure, right? I messed up. So the second hit, if you get countered by just this. Yeah. Okay, that's messed up. That's actually messed up. But that's a launcher with Heat Burst. And if you do have the execution, you can also do a wall standing 3. This is gonna be hard, but it's a launcher on counter hit. Safe mid-mid. It's very strong. It's very fucking good. Not only that, Leo player also has the option to do this, which is a new move. Wall standing 2-4. Now this is gonna be very important, and I want you guys to memorize this a little bit. Is that because a lot of people assume that this is safe because it's a high. So wall standing, not wall standing, QCF2-4 is a high that you can duck, right? But you actually do not need to duck it at all because it's -11. You have to punish this with back 1-2 or a 10 framer. So yeah, be very careful about this move. Then they will use this 2-4 version, usually at the wall, because this is a wall splat. This is when they will use this instead of the 2-1. So yeah, be careful. Every move turns into a launcher, yeah. Without heat, Leo is pretty strong because of the Heat Burst, man. Holy hell. Okay, that's about QCF2. Anything else? These are wall standing moves. Like, this is just the lab stuff you have to lab, like wall standing 3-1 and the mix-up it has. Let me just talk about this as well for a little bit. This is a move that you have to lab, but let me just briefly mention it. So wall standing 3-1. Actually, I know how to actually transition to this. So let's talk about this move first. This low. So let's transition to lows. I'm gonna mention that move immediately after. So this low is a 21 frame high crushing low. That's +5, right? This is +5 on hit. The high crush is pretty fast as well. And the best property of this is that it's -12. So you cannot TP this. Even if you could, sometimes it whiffed. Look at this shit, it's messed up. So yeah, 4-4 is the way you punish this. It also has decent range. It doesn't look like it has a good range, but it actually has decent range. The way you can avoid this is either sidewalk left, but it actually has slight tracking. But usually you can avoid it with sidestepping. Unless they make it, what's it called? Make it tracking by dashing. Stuff like that. But it has very slight tracking, but usually sidesteps will avoid this. Something like that. Now the biggest strength of this move is that it's +5, right? That's pretty strong already. The second one is that it's a launcher. That launches. And that's a very easy launcher with wall standing 3. It's something like this, right? Easy launcher. That's pretty decent damage. I just did a bad combo. I could do a better combo there, but yeah. It's very strong for a -12 low. And this is very strong, especially against someone like Gaz. This basically stops you from electrocuting that much. This is one of the moves that will stop you from electric keep outs or electric checks in general. So be careful about one-oneing or electrocuting and stuff like that, because this move will just annoy you. It will annoy you a lot. It's very good against the character because it's only -12. It's not backdashable that much either. As I said, decent range. Right? 2.2, 2.3 maybe. I think it's like 2.2. Yeah, 2.2, something like that. So be careful about this move. And the thing I wanted to mention is that this +5 property immediately transitions to a frame trap with while standing 3. And this is a very, very strong frame trap. Everyone uses this. Every Leo player in existence will use this. Just because how strong this is. Now I'm going to explain why this is so strong. So this into while standing 3 is a frame trap because +5 to 13 frames. Right? You can't really do anything about this. The strength of this comes from it being tracking in this situation, so you cannot sidestep this any direction. Right? No stepping allowed. You cannot press against it. And the biggest thing about this is it has a follow-up to the 3-1. And usually we'll see the 3-1 and not the 3. If they want to stay safe, they can do just the 3, but usually they will do 3-1. So this 3-1. Now let's talk about the while standing 3-1. So this move is -10. You can actually punish this. But the reason Leo players use this is because it has so much more reward than the risk of this -10. So let me talk about the reward. One is that jab is not always, you know, guaranteed. Because they can do something like a 3-1-2, I think. Yep, 3-1-2. That's one of the things they can do. If we try to jab, you get countered by this, with this being guaranteed there. That's guaranteed with like 40 something damage. So you have to be careful about that already. But that's not the only thing you have to worry about. The other thing you have to worry about is 3-1 stance transition. So if you try to 1-1 here, it will whiff. Right? You have to be very, very careful about this. Because something like this, 3-1 stance 2, it might catch your 1-1 attempt. Right? It might. It will catch your 1-1 attempt. So your 10 frame punish will literally just get launched instantly because of that. So you're guessing if they're going to stance or finish it, or if you want to punish it. So be very, very careful about that. And also, the one very, very important property I didn't mention is delayable. I don't think you can delay it. Let me try it. Nope, it's not delayable. It will always come up like this. But the very, very important property that I want to mention, the biggest reason they actually finish it, is that this is all guaranteed on counter hit. If while standing 3 counter hits, they can actually confirm the counter hit and finish this and get all that damage for free on counter hit, and I think down 4 is guaranteed here. That's 51 damage. Maybe something else is guaranteed, I'm not sure, but down 4 is 100% guaranteed. So, very strong. It's very strong. While standing 3. Oh, another while standing 3, yeah. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. Now be careful about that setup specifically. You'll see this into this a lot. And I mean a lot, all the time. If you want to kinda win against it, you can power crush. I think power crush will work against it. But if your power crush is bad, they can block it. So I don't think it's worth it. So let's say I do Kazuya power crush. I think Kazuya's power crush might be one of the slowest ones in the game. I'm not too sure about that, right? So if I try to power crush this, they can block it. Because Kazuya's power crush is just too slow. If you have a fast one, it might work, but Kazuya's just won't work. Against the 3-1, it might work. But if you have a high power crush, these mind games are actually insane with Leo. They can do this into this, and the high might whiff. Let me try it again. Yeah, this will work against the 3-1. But if you have a high power crush, this stance transition might make it whiff. But since we're labbing ults now, we don't have to worry about that. Okay, that's about 3-1. Let's transition to the other main load that Leo players have. It's a QCF1. So QCF1 is a very, very strong low, because this kind of enables Leo players to also mix you up from very long ranges, like this. Cross and hello. So this kind of mix-up gets enabled with this and QCF2-1 just because of the range of the QCF1. There's a lot of range just because of the QCF input, and also you can just delay it as much as you want, right? To make it long range. Something like this. So you have to be careful about it. I mean, you can't delay it as much as you want, but you can delay it quite much. So yeah, be careful about this move. And the thing about this, the dab, is that it tracks really well. Both directions. You cannot avoid this. The rip sidesteps. Fully rip sidesteps, right? It is -1. But that -1 can be very scary, because if you try to sidestep after, this will catch you. As I said, that move tracks really well. Like this might catch you sometimes if you don't press a jab and try a mid check. If you try a mid check like down forward 1, for example, this will catch you. If you try a jab, maybe they'll do something like this that will catch you. So basically, he has options for a lot of stuff. So be very, very careful about QCF1. And the strongest property this has is the counter property. So this, that's guaranteed. So that's very, very strong for that kind of move that tracks both sides and has this much range. But the plus side, for Kazuya players especially, is that if you do block this, it is -13. So for Kaz players, that's a big plus that you can launch it. But if you're not a Kaz player, this move is very, very good because you cannot launch it. Okay. That's about QCF1, another very important low. Let's talk about another very important low, which in my opinion is underused and is still underused in this game and was underused in the previous game. It's this move right here. I despise this move. And if I play Leo, I abuse this move. I sometimes forget it exists, but holy hell, it's good. This is so good. Holy fuck. So yeah, back 1+4. So this is a low-high move, which comes out instantly. It's an 18 damaging low. That's also +3 on hit, right? And this is also very hard to low parry. I don't know why, but it has a very weird property that makes it hard to low parry. I just couldn't low parry there, right? Just not working. I can't low parry. Very weird property on the low parry. Unless I just do it for a long time, like this. If I time it, it won't work. So it's still a thing that low parrying it is hard. And it's only -12. So you cannot TP this. This is a very, very good low. Very good one. Because not only does it also have decent tracking, you can sidestep it to the right sometimes, but the tracking is still decent. I mean, actually sidewalk it a bit, because that's usually how it works, like this kind of distance, right? So that's the little bit of tracking I was talking about. It has a bit of tracking, so it's good. But the biggest problem that move has is its countered property. It's +14. That's guaranteed +14 moves. What that means is that on counter hit, this is guaranteed. So that heat engager is guaranteed on counter hit. And that's pretty damn good, you know? It's pretty damn strong. So yeah, this is very good. 14 frames are guaranteed. And because 14 frames are guaranteed here, you just get a free... Okay, I'm going to talk about Tita a little bit later. Buff Gaz. I'm just saying Leo is good. Leo is very damn good. So yeah, this move, I think it should be 13, but it's not. Bugs out versus armor moves. Yeah, versus armor moves, you can actually launch with down forward too. I don't know if I can showcase it, but yeah, it's just a very good move. Very fucking strong. So maybe I can showcase it. Let me try it. Let me try to showcase it. So against armor moves, let's say we try to power crush, something like that, right? Yeah, there we go. That's guaranteed. It used to be a thing in the Tekken 7 as well. Yeah, that's guaranteed. Into all free launch, basically. Down forward to a free launch. Pretty strong, right? Yeah. Pretty good move. For -12 low parry's hard. This is a pretty damn good move. Okay. Now let's talk about down 4, which is another low. kind of have to talk about, that Leo players use it like a fast low poke, right? They can also use this, but you won't see this that much anymore in Tekken 8. Give God a hatchet kick. No, bro. I don't want to dumb him down. Trust me. So down 4 is a very long range low. That comes out pretty fast in 16 frames. Right? Does decent damage with 13 for how fast it is. It also has a follow-up with 1+2. Or is it 2? Maybe it's 2. 2. I just always press 1+2. So down 4 2 is a low-high follow-up that the Leo players might use for long-range low poking. But if you try to punish the first one, this will also counter it to you, right? It's a punish on block kind of move. And the thing is, even on hit you can duck it. So the good thing about this is it doesn't jail, unlike like most other moves that in Tekken 8 they added jailing for, it doesn't jail. Good thing, right? That's good. But it's still a very strong move because just down 4 by itself forces you to guess. Like basically you have to guess and it's -11 only. And you will see this kind of move as an ender a lot. If they want to basically end you, like kill you at the end of the round, they might do this because if you do duck and try to punish it instantly, you will get hit by the high. So yeah, be careful about that. Okay, what else? Am I forgetting any other mids? I have to transition to the stance, not mids, lows. I have to transition into the stance after this, but I think I'm not forgetting any lows. There's also this full crouch low. I mentioned this like briefly. But this full crouch low basically comes from full crouch. And it's a full crouch mix up in a way. So be really, really careful about this low. Because it tracks really well, but it's basically like a hell sweep of sorts. Yeah, I think that's it for lows, more or less. Those are the main lows anyway. If I'm forgetting something, I think it's okay. Outside of the stance stuff, right? So now let's talk about the stance. So first let's talk about this stance, and then I'm going to talk about this one. So this stance I already showcased has this 2 option, and this is usually used for evasion purposes. The main transitions for this stance is either while staying 3-1 into this stance, which I already talked about, right? Or back 1+2 into this stance. I think these 2 are going to be the main transitions that you're going to see. Outside of the neutral, they might just throw it out as well. Oh yeah, and up 4 2. Yeah, I did mention this as well. Up 4 2 is also one of them. So let's see the options that Leo players have after this. You guys already know the 2 I demonstrated a lot. This is a high crushing option. They basically beat all your highs, even electrics, and it will launch you for free. But the biggest property of this move is that it's safe with a lot of pushback. So this pushback, this huge pushback, makes that -9 basically obsolete. It doesn't matter that you're -9 or +9, right? If you're +9, it doesn't matter. This pushback makes it so that you can't press anything. Even if you have a long range move, one backdash will make it whiff. So be very careful when this move gets blocked. When you block it, right? So, yeah. It is steppable. I showcased it already when it comes to this, right? When you can step it. You can actually step to the right a bit easier than to the left, but I think it's steppable both sides. Yeah. Say hello. Other than that, he also has a while staying 1-2, which got changed. This is one of the changes that he got in this game. Not while standing. Stance 1-2. So this 1-2 here also is weak to sidestep right, but the second hit is pretty tracking. And it tracks fully to the left. So that's why I said usually you do want to go to the right. And this is also -14. If you do have the execution, you can sometimes electric it, but it's a little bit hard. The block stun is weird. So usually just go for a back 1-2 or down back 1-2. And the thing about this move is that it's a normal hit tornado now. Right? It's a normal hit tornado, double mid. That's -14. You might see this sometimes, so make sure to punish it. But it's gonna be hard for you to step both hits. Usually you will be blocking it. So that's the other thing they have. There's also the 3 that's gonna be more or less common, to be honest. So the 3 usually will come out when they do this kind of stuff and you don't press something. So Leo players are very, very good at doing something like this. When they do down 1+2, if they're expecting something like electric, for example, right? But they don't see an electric, like it's not coming out. Then they will just do a 3 because they don't want to, you know, lose their turn or just stop pressure. And what this 3 does is that it's a tracking high, so you basically can't sidestep against it. It guarantees a stomp, if I remember correctly. Or something like up back 3, something similar. On hit. And it's +5 for the Leo player on block, so it basically creates more pressure situations for Leo. So this is very, very good move. That you're basically forced to duck because how much range it has. And the other thing they can also do is go into 4, which transitions instantly to the stance. I don't know what these stances are called, don't ask me. I think this is called K and K, but I don't know what it actually stands for. But the kinky stance, yeah, the kink stance, okay. So yeah, this stance is also one of the options. But the other part which Leo players can also do is after this, basically, they can actually hold it down and go into full crouch and do something similar to this box stance. Yeah, I don't know, bro. It's the kinky stance now. So yeah, they just do this. And when they do that, they might start mixing up full crouch with this, and sometimes they might do a while standing too. So remember that this stance can transition into full crouch if you respect it too much as well. So just make sure to have the awareness that this can happen. Okay, so that's about this stance. I mean, there's also this power crush, which is new. But this power crush is punishable. You can do back 1-2 on 1+2 against it. But just remember that when you try to mash against it, he does have a power crush option. That also is a heat engager. And that means it can, you know, become +5. It's a power crush that can become +5. You know, we all hate those, right? Leo has that. At least it's in a stance, unlike most other characters. Unlike Azucena, Victor, Nina. I hate Ninas. So, at least that. But even Leo has something like that. Power crush heat engager. Which is a mid in this regard. So be careful about that. Okay, that's about that stance. Let's talk about 4-4 stance now. This stance right here. So this stance is going to be one of the most pressure heavy stances you're going to deal with against Leo. So this 4-4 transition, it can come from a back 1-4, just 4-4, this cancel that I talked about, or I think the most common one will be 1-4 punish into this stance mix-up. That's going to be one of the most common ones. So 1-4 basically leaves Leo into the stance and mixes you up with the options that he has. So let's actually discuss the options. One of the options that kind of got changed is the 4. So this 4 used to have a less range, a little bit less range. It used to be +9. But now it has this animation, which is new, and it's +4 instead. But this is the very basic low option that Leo players have in this stance. You can duck this and it's -12, right? But you cannot step this, either direction. I think they increased the tracking on this maybe, but I think it wasn't steppable anyway, but doesn't matter now. Basically, it tracks really well. You have to duck it. That's the low option. And the thing about this move is that it also gained the counter hit property. So that's a new counter hit property it didn't used to have. That it basically guarantees something here. I don't know what it guarantees, but it guarantees something. Maybe while standing 3. Like maybe the shoulder if you try to get up. Something's either guaranteed or a mix-up. Combo? That's a combo. Don't tell me a heat burst works, man. Oh, it doesn't. So maybe while standing 3 will combo there. Or while standing 3 picks up a full combo. I guess that's like something hard to do, right? Just hold down for it. Damn, that's messed up. Sometimes it whiffs. It's not gonna be that easy, but I did not know that was a combo. That's messed up. It's not. I just comboed though. Oh, K4 down forward. Let me check that. We're learning together, boys. Oh. That's messed up, bruh. I did not know this. I did not know this. Yo, that's messed up. That's pretty strong. But I think the difference here is that if the Leo transitions to down forward, it becomes more unsafe. You can actually punish this with the wall standing too. Because of the down forward, he can't block. but that's still pretty damn strong. Because I don't think you can react to the down forward version or the normal version. Usually it's minus 12. That's messed up. That's pretty good. That's pretty strong. I did not know that. That's good to know. So yeah, that's the 4. There's also a 3 that also works as a mid mix-up. I think this is the truest mid mix-up Leo players have to the 4. So 3 is a normal hit launcher. That you can step to the left, but I think it tracks fully to the right. Yep. Basically has full track to the right, but you can step it to the left. So in this situation, if you step duck, it will beat both the 3 and the 4. Right? So that's very, very good to know. And that 3 basically has an extension, which makes this a combo, right? So yeah, be careful about that. And the 3 by itself, this is important to know as well. 3 by itself is punishable. I think it's minus 13. Yep. Came back 1-2, down back 1-2. And the full double hop kick, the 3-4, is also punishable. So do something like this. Minus 12. The only difference is the first one is more minus, which I don't know what sense that makes, but yeah. Basically punish it with the back 1-2. Okay, so that's the option. Basically the best mid option he has that the 3 gets. That 3 gets, but the stance gets. There's also 2, which is very, very important to know. Which is basically the option Leo players might do to stop you from doing something like a Rage Art or a Power Crush. Right? Power Crush or Rage Art, it will beat most other options unless it's a low, right? Rage Arts will beat the low as well. But this is basically the anti-Rage Art or anti-stepping, anti-button option that they have. Because this is a countered launcher. It's really, really good. Fast, high, in +9 situation, basically. Right? And it's only minus 4. Pretty damn good. Also, it tracks basically both sides in this situation as well. The other option they have to check you as well is stance 1-2. So stance 1-2 got changed. This used to be a wall bounce. I'm just happy they're gone, I'm going to be honest. But this move is very, very strong. It's a safe high mid, -9, and normal hit heat engager. Right? You cannot do anything about this. Even if you try to punch parry this, it won't work. So be very careful about this. Basically a check with a high. The first hit's a high, but the second one is a safe mid. It's really strong. And the thing you have to consider about this move also is that 1-2 is very delayable. So after 1, that 2 is very, very delayable. What this does is it creates an illusion that the Leo player stopped pressing, and then you're gonna press, right? Get hit by this. But it also increases risk because this becomes steppable. And also punch parryable. So yeah, this is very important to know. And yeah, this also transitions to this stance. This stance right here. Almost forgot. The stance I talked about at first, the first stance. So if you do try something or, you know, respect it too much, they might do stance transition 3 or 2 or full crouch mix up. So yeah, be careful about that. Stance to stance, yes. So yeah, it's a pretty good mind game. There's also 1+2 that Leo players might use for a mid mix up, right? Let's say for 1+2. If you try to duck and keep on ducking for the low, this will just catch you. And it's a safe mid, -6. That also wall splats. It's pretty good. It's on the slower side, which is its main weakness, but it tracks to the left, which is the way you usually want to go against 3. It doesn't track to the right though. But as I said, against 3, you usually want a sidestep duck, right? So this will catch the sidestep duck. But the weakness of this is you can duck and then stand up because it's slow. But if you do that, 3 will catch you. So yeah, be very careful. Very, very careful. It also has a slower mid option. So if you do a fuzzy guard, let's say you try to fuzz the 4 and the 1+2, this will catch you. You tried fuzzy. Because this is basically a slow health sweep kind of move that Leo has from stance, which is a 3+4. You can duck this. It's a hell sweep, minus 26, but you can't fuzzy because of this move. One of the anti-fuzzy options basically that Leo has. Okay, there's that. But now I'm gonna talk about one of the best things a Leo player can do after forward 4, or just anything after this hits or gets blocked, which is, to be honest, the scariest option in general. It's forward 4 into crouch dash. I'm just so happy that a lot of Leo players do this, because this is one of the strongest options that he can do, in my opinion. So after 1-4, a crouch dash mix-up, or forward 4 crouch dash mix-up, that's very scary. Because not only can Leo just stack this like this with crouch dash mix-ups, right? You can also do any of the crouch dash moves that I just listed, like CD1, CD2-1, you know, CD3 with while standing 3, while standing 4. So all these options become available after forward 4, and also he can just stack these and sometimes decide to finish it. So this is a very, very strong pressure tool, in my opinion. That down forward cancel, it's very good. Magic 4 combo. Oh yeah, I should actually talk about that. That's very important. Let me finish the stance first. So yeah, be careful about that. But I think that's it about the stance, actually. About the forward 4 stance. Talked about that. Yeah, I think that's about it, more or less. Let's talk about the Magic 4 combo. Good thing Mito reminded me of that. So Magic 4, Leo's Magic 4 has a very unique property with that right there. So when Magic 4 hits you, this basically seems like this is guaranteed. Right? It seems like it is guaranteed. But you can actually do something about this. Let me actually do this, stop. So this does a lot of damage if this actually works. But you can actually either spring kick here. Spring kick does that animation, right? No longer a combo. Or you can also down 3 here. Or I think get up kicks might work as well. I'm not sure. I didn't test that. Get up kicks do not work. So yeah, down 3 or spring kick. And it will just avoid this. But this is still messed up in my opinion, because this creates a situation where you might get launched, because if the Leo player just reads the spring kick or down 3, you'll get launched. So yeah, be very careful about using this, but don't let the Leo player get away with a Magic 4 combo anyway. Okay. Time for heat. I think it's time for heat. So when I go into heat, I'll also mention the moves that the Leo gets from his install. I don't know what it's called, but the blue hand that he has right now, basically. Because heat basically enables all those moves instantly. Okay. So when Leo goes into heat, the biggest change he has is that he has the auto install, just like Brian has. So something like, what's that move? Is it back 3? Back 3, 1, 2. There we go. Something like that becomes available when he has install or when he's in heat. Right? This is a mid, and that's very strong. So let's... Oh my goodness. I messed up. So let me showcase that. There we go. It's back 3, 1, 2. This can become like a mid mix-up. Mid. It is minus 13, by the way. But this is all guaranteed, and it will also wall splat, I'm pretty sure. But make sure to punish this with down forward 4-4. I think back 1 whiffs. I'm pretty sure it whiffs. It will most likely whiff. Oh, it doesn't wall splat anymore. Gotcha. Okay. But yeah, still be careful about this move. Down forward 4-4 is where you want to do something like this. There's also other install moves. Which is the other one? Yeah, forward 2. Not forward 2. This one, yeah. This one. 4-2, 4-3. This is what I meant. So this is also another one. But this is a high. Unlike, you know, back 3, which is a mid startup. So with a high startup, also has a double high like this. Double high mid. Which you cannot duck, by the way, and it's also plus. So you have to be very, very careful about this. I don't think I can do anything about this, actually. So +1, high, mid, basically checks you very well here. And yeah, easy hit confirm too. So be very careful about this option. I don't think you can do much about it. Just remember that it's -1. And yeah, not only is it -1, it forces crouch. And not only does it force crouch, Leo is in a stance afterwards. I think he has the option to go between a stance or not, but I think most Leo players will go into a stance there. Yeah, you can basically confirm the 4-2-4 into the 3. And that's a wall splat, I think. Can hold by holding down, yeah. Oh yeah, it changes frames as well. I didn't know that. So it changes frames to +4 for Leo if he actually goes into the stance. So be careful about that. Game. That's very strong. Obviously, it's very good. +4 with stance, pretty damn decent. And there's also the hell sweep that also gets enhanced. This is the Leo's Doria right here. So in heat, this hell sweep does 39 damage now. So it's very good. Having this hell sweep is already good enough. I think I forgot to mention this in the low section. Let's talk about this hell sweep a little bit. So with install, this hell sweep is still launch punishable, obviously. But the big thing about this is that now it has a follow-up that can be used as a block mind game. So they have the option to either do this or finish this. And I'm not sure if it jails. Let's actually see that. If it jails or not. So when this whiffs, usually you want to punish this with an electric, right? It's -16. Usually. But then it comes the third hit. Let me actually check that. But I don't think it does jail. So heat, down back 4, 1+2, 1+2. And if you try to punish the second hit, let me try punishing the second hit. It does jail. Okay, that's good. That is good. I didn't know this. I wanted to actually lab this for a long time. So you can just punish this with down forward 1-2 or down forward 1-4, something like that, and it will work pretty well. So yeah, that's pretty good to know. So you don't have to guess as a block punisher. That's good to know. I didn't know that. I wanted to lab this for a long time, but I didn't really get to do it. So I'm glad I did it now. Yeah, 4-2-4 also jails, but yeah, it's kind of obvious that you cannot duck this high. I think I mentioned that you cannot duck this high. I think that's it for the installs. Let's talk about his heat smash now. So Leo heat smash, in my opinion, is one of the best ones in the game. Like one of the best ones. So this heat smash is steppable. You can actually step it both sides, more or less. But it usually does this right here. So usually you won't be stepping this that close. You like this kind of range, right? And when you step it, most of the time Leo just runs away. It can happen like that when he's close, right? But most of it, oh my god, that just tracked me. It does have slide triangle. You can step it to the left, more or less. But this situation basically makes the heat smash on whiff safe. And that's messed up. It's really messed up because the heat smash by itself is very strong. So what does this heat smash do? On block, let's say you block it, right? This is a +8 normal stance, but it also has the option, if I remember correctly, to go into the forward 4 stance. So it's a really messed up situation after this. Oh, this stance, not forward 4 stance. Gotcha. So yeah, the situation is really messed up. You're basically guessing there. So be very careful. I think I have to hold back maybe. But yeah, be very careful about this on block. But the biggest thing that this move has, which is why I consider it one of the best in the game, is it's a wall splat. It's a 50 damage heat smash that wall splats, is a mid, is plus, and on whiff, he can just run away and you cannot punish it. So it's very strong. So let me just demonstrate that, right? Let's say you're at the wall. like this, right? And you're getting mixed, and you just, you just duck. You sometimes duck, right? GG, well played. GG's. You just died, right? Basically, all your HP is gone now. So, yeah, this is very strong. This is very, very strong. Because as I said, even if it whiffs, it's hard to punish sometimes. You shouldn't wall splat. Well, it does. That's why I consider it one of the best. Like when you combine the wall splat property with the wall splatting wall splat property with the whiffing property, when it just runs away, you can't punish it, and with the slight tracking it has, and the mix-up it has, it just becomes one of the best ones. And it's a mid too, so yeah. Yeah, what else? What else? I think that's about it. I don't think I'm forgetting too much. I might be forgetting some stuff, but I think most of the important stuff I already talked about. Damn, this was... The latest speed labs are taking so long. Holy hell. Stance characters, man. Gotta hate them. But yeah, YouTube, big thanks for watching, guys. Big thanks for watching. And yeah, see you guys in the next one.